What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Rabid Mining YouTube channel, and I'm here to say no, crypto mining is not dead. Well, maybe, it depends what you mine with. GPU mining might be dead currently and could for a little while, but as for crypto mining, you always see the question everywhere: is crypto mining dead? Is crypto mining dead? No, it's not dead. GPU mining is dead for a little bit here, but crypto mining in general is by far anywhere from dead. So we're going to take a little look here at my 30 CPU mining farm. As you can see, we have some ASICs and everything here. I'm kind of doing some remodeling. I also got this big, huge 71-inch wide Husky rack, which if I could fill this thing up, so lengthwise, this thing is about from that rack to that rack wide. I could probably get about 6 in a row here. Because it's also deeper, I may be able to fit 3 rigs per row. So times that by 4, I think I'd be able to fit around 70 CPU mining rigs on this single 4-tiered rack. So that's pretty awesome there. I actually want to get another one. 2 will fit across that entire wall over there and have room to open up. So I'm probably going to do something like that later on. I picked up another 2-pole 30 amp breaker. So this is for 240 volt. Because I do plan, once I do set those up, I want to move everything to that other wall. And because I only have a single 30 amp 240 volt, which is good for about 5,700 watts, you know, in total power at your 80%, good for about 7,200 watts or something like that at the max. But we don't run it that way for safety issues. I want to have my CPUs on their own 30 amp circuit, and then I'm going to point my GPUs and these ASICs and stuff currently on the same thing over there. The GPUs will be off for a while, but the ASICs and stuff, that Jasminer Q and so on, will be all together on their own with my CPU separated. We can see right now I'm hanging out at about 3,930 watts, you know, just under right there. And that is with that Jasminer X4Q, which is 500 watts. These are 235 watts each, and depending on these, you know, we're 145, 200 some, and so on. So like my CPU rigs are only using about 2,300 watts or so in power. There's 27 of them here. I got that one over there in the little one's PC, the 3700X. And in the other room, we got the 7950X in the workstation and another 3900X working as my server PC. So I will go through profitability later on in this video, because I'm sure that's all most of you guys care about, is how profitable is the CPU these days and whatnot. But we'll look at that later. I do want to go over how I'm experimenting and trying multiple power supplies out. I've talked about it in the past, never really went too in depth in it. And I don't want to go too in depth in it in this video as well, because it may just take, you know, this will be like a 40-50 minute video. So I just want to run through everything, because some people may not have caught those other videos, but I will do like a dedicated video on the setup process. So these 5 rigs here, now I could get 6 on it, but they are running off a 1200 watt server power supply. This is hanging out right here. It's using this parallel miner breakout board. It's part of the Christmas Halloween package, and it's using 14 gauge cables, which then go to barrel plugs by default. Now I do have one still running right here. We looked at this through a thermal temperature camera and we saw that it is running warm, so I want to swap that out sometime. But right now I've slowly been moving them over to these Anderson plugs, and they're much safer, no issues whatsoever with these. These are rated for 30 amps a piece, all the way up to 600 watts, or I mean 600 volt. Obviously we're only using 12 volts, so in this case it's good for around 300 watts or so, and our CPUs are not pulling that. Each CPU is probably dishing out, depending on what you're mining, anywhere from 80 to 100 watts per entire system, not just the CPU. That's your motherboard, SSD, M2, whatever you're using, cooler, everything. 80 to 100 watts depending on the algorithm you're mining. So CPU rigs don't use that much power. Now when running these server power supplies, you also have to keep in mind you do need these Picos. So these Picos act as your 24 pin. They also produce the power going into your motherboard, your SSD, whatever, depending how you are running it. These ones are running off SSDs. Later on, you know, I did swap over to M2s. It's much more cleaner. You can get them tighter together, much more compact, and just looks nicer. So eventually I'll probably swap all these out. You can see I have some SSDs on these ones. We got these 24 pin motherboard splitters. Now we went from this style here over to here, and there's 2 ways to go about an ATX PSU and linking 2 rigs together. So one PSU, 2 CPU mining rigs, One is with this 24-pin CPU splitter, and then the other is a CPU pin splitter. So again, links in the description. They may be selling out fast. I have been looking at them. There weren't very many left, so they could be gone at this point. Hopefully they get more stock of these in. But another option, if you cannot find these CPU splitters, no, they are not PCI Express splitters. It's specifically CPU splitters. The pinout layouts are a little bit different there, so the PCI Express will not work. I tried it. It didn't boot. I got lucky it didn't fry something. So just don't do it, guys. But yeah, you can utilize a lot of CPUs, or I mean ATX PSUs these days do have 2 CPU outputs. So therefore, I believe, which rigs do I have running that? Actually, these 2 right here are running off 2 CPUs layouts coming out of the ATX power supply. So here we can see there's 2 cables coming in. One is going to this rig, the other is going to this rig, and then the 2 24 pins are linked through that same 24 pin splitter. So I'm trying different ways out. So far, this seems to be the best option now. This is still a great option, but like I said, it probably will start costing a little bit more because you do need those Picos, which are anywhere from 20 to 30 bucks a piece. Plus you need to get the Breakout board, and then you also need to get these Anderson plugs, because the barrel plugs, they did start to heat up and melt, especially if you got the wrong ones. They'd only last like an hour, if that. Now you need the 2.5 millimeters, and a lot of people were getting 2.125 millimeters. And those 2.1s, they will melt and they'll be a fire hazard very fast. So eventually, even the good ones, you know, the 2.5s, they did start to heat up and melt a little bit, but I didn't run into any issues. But I did swap them out to those Anderson plugs, and again, that's just more cost to your whole operation. But if you already got everything, you know what, you may as well use them. And I'm going to fit a couple more rigs on this server power supply. And remember, you want to try to run as close to 50% of the power supply as you can, because the majority of power supplies, ATX as well as server PSUs, peak efficiency rating is at the 50% mark of utilizing that power supply. So keep these things in mind when purchasing. So example, these are only using like 160 to 200 watts. You may only need a 4 to 450 watt ATX PSU or something like that for this, unless you decide to overclock a little higher. And in that case, you'll probably have to opt in for more expensive motherboards. So, you know, it's always depending on how you're going to utilize them and what your power price is. Myself, I try to run efficiency, so I'm not using much power, which means smaller power supplies, which means usually they're also a little cheaper as well. Whoa, so I was just about to talk about the old crypto mining, how mining is not dead, and I was about to look at these things and I see I have a dead fan here, so I'm going to find something and see if I can hijack that fan to spin again right quick. All right. So I found a little screwdriver, so I'm just going to kind of poke this in there and give it a spin. Ooh, it feels pretty tight. Oh, that's stiff. That's a stiff fan. Okay, so the bearings might have went on this fan. I'll unplug it and try it again. I don't know exactly which miner this is, but one is a Mini Doge Pro, and the other one is a KD Box Pro, and I don't know which one is which at this point. So I'm going to unplug this, plug it back in, and see if that fan starts again, but I don't think it's going to, because that is a pretty stiff fan. Oh, it's getting actually a lot looser here. Let's just mess around with it a bit. Oh, wait, is it going to go? Oh, we fixed it. There we go. All right, so I didn't have to reset nothing. Our fan is rolling again. Awesome. All right, guys, easy fix for a broken fan. In this case, it wasn't really broken, but it was definitely jammed up with something. All right, so back to what I was going to say is everyone got into GPU mining because it was profitable. Grab a bunch of cards, slap them together. You can expand really easily and fast and not much space being used up, which is true. But now GPU mining is not profitable unless you have 6 cents. Actually, that's about break-even point right now. You need under 6 cents to be profitable. So all you guys out there that's telling yourself it's profitable or somehow it's going to be good after 6 cents, you're lying to yourself. You know, get over it. Buy the coin, guys. You're going to get more crypto for that future pump. Regardless, moving on, we have ASICs here for ETC. We have ETH hash algorithm as well. That's your FW, you know, and you know what's out there, pink chains out there, various other. We got Callisto out there. That's been a very profitable coin lately as well. Actually, one of the top profitable on the ETH hash algorithm lately. And then we got our mini Doge. Dogecoin has been pumping. Now we have a Litecoin halving coming up early next year. That may affect it, but if Dogecoin keeps going up, that may counterbalance it with the merge mining and remain with these Litecoin script type of miners as being a little bit profitable here. We also have the KD Box Pro. They're doing very well right now, even still. But once the KA3 comes online, you know, I'm a little bit iffy about that. I don't think it's going to be too hot of a product anymore. But right now, it's at least still decent and fairly profitable. And of course, we got our CPUs and whatnot. Now, we also looked at it the other day. We got this Evergreen Chia miner, which is also fairly profitable. It easily covers power costs and you're making some money. Now, the ROI is, you know, a long time, but you're profitable, so you at least have an ROI. So there's also Helium out there. It can be profitable if you're in a decent spot. Now, I am a lone wolf miner. This is currently a gold shell UGW800 that has not yet been released, but it is coming soon. I don't know the full specs on this operation yet, but it's supposed to be up of 5G as well, but I cannot confirm that till I get more details on this miner. Now, I do got to set that miner up soon, but as you can see here, the past 24 hours, I've actually made 80 cents being a lone wolf miner. I have two of my own hotspots set up around, I don't know, 4 blocks apart from each other. So we'll see what happens once I do set up that other one. But right now, I'm even making 80 cents mining or farming or whatever it is, proof of network space stuff, 80 cents helium at the current moment. So that's still kind of profitable at only like 5 to 10 watts. So just a quick rundown here. There's lots of other profitable ways to mine cryptocurrencies, not just GPUs. Now you look on Reddit or something, everyone's talking mining is dead. Mining is not dead, just the GPUs are. So I know you guys have been waiting, you know, what's the profitability of a CPU these days and what are you mining? So let's jump into the workstation. I'm going to take a look at the CPU mining calculator, which is on my website, rabidmining.com. Be sure to use it yourself if you're looking at CPU mining profits, and let's see exactly what we could be making here. All right, guys, so let's take a look of the profitability of my CPU farm here. And this 3700X is not in here currently because I haven't done all the full tests and we don't have the presets for it yet. But entering all the hash rates, 11 cents per kilowatt hour, we can see Dero is currently making about $25.18 before power, $17.65 after power. And we're in a bear market, guys. That's not too bad considering, you know, crypto prices are down. We have had a little pump recently, but, you know, not too bad. But anyway, we got Bitorium here, $12.58 before, $5.10 after power. We got Jagger Coin, $4.19 after power. Raptorium, $3.93 after power. Bamboo, we're at $1 after power, and this is 11 cents per kilowatt hour. Now, if I went to look at my average, so for 30 rigs here, $25.18 divided by 30 is about 83 cents per rig. So my farm is averaging 83 cents before power on a single 3900X. Now I'm coming into what to mine. I'm going to throw in a 3070 at the same 11 cents per kilowatt hour. And the reason I like to compare to 3070s is one, the 3070 is like the go-to GPU for everyone in terms of efficiency, and the majority of algorithms seems to be like the best GPU everybody wants. Personally, I would recommend an A2000 over it, but then, you know, you got density issues and too many GPUs, yada, yada, yada. I don't think we could ever have too many GPUs, but regardless, I go against a 3070. Also, it comes down to price. You can build a 3900X rig for about the price of an MSRP 3070. Now, you can find those cheaper now in used markets, but the prices are still there. But regardless, before power, look at this, 24 cents, 26 cents. Obviously, we're in the negatives after power on all of these coins here. But even if you had free power on a 3070, a 3900X is over double of your free power costs here at 83 cents, here 30 cents, 18 cents, 19 cents, 30 cents, 22 cents, 16, 28, 15. You can see the trend here across any GPU mineable coin. A 3900X is over double the profits on it in today's market. So it's pretty insane how these CPUs are actually coming more forefront into the spotlight when previously everyone said CPU mining is garbage and no one's ever going to do it. All right, guys, so there we have it. A quick look at inside of my farm and what I currently got going on now. A fast little glimpse at some future plans on expansion and stuff that I do want to do. It's going to be really expensive. It's going to take quite a bit of time to slowly carry it out. It's not going to happen all at once. It may be a 1 or 2 year process, but you know, it's just future plans. Set your goals. do whatever you got to do and just slowly work towards those goals. Now, if everyone goes out there and actually purchases a bunch of CPUs, obviously it's going to fall into the same boat as GPUs, where the difficulty is too high and, you know, nothing will be profitable with CPUs or GPUs. Then we got to revert back to only ASICs or something. You know, it's a never ending kind of thing going on back and forth all the time. But you know what? That's what we got to deal with as miners. That's just the way the whole networks and difficulties and profitability does work. So thank you for watching this video, guys. I will see you on the next one. Rabid out.